difficult time for your warband.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, I went up against. So I had a group well provisioned, like chainmail, like full armor, like all the decks. Like I think I got a couple of them like up to like level 8 or 10. Like they were professionals. They had lived. They had survived. Um, I came up against. I saw a lensworm. I was like, I'm stuck in a caravan contract, and I can see this thing like beaming towards me. I was pausing. I was like, I am about to get railed hard. So I paused and I went in and like I was just micromanaging every single guy. I think I spent like a full like 2 or 3 hours like just going through, not that much, like an hour going through every single individual. Like, okay, what do you have here? What is the backup? What can I do here? And just to sort of elaborate upon that, I had bought a lot of pets, so dogs, eagles, and the like. Because what I would do is that the people in the front, the spearmen, would release out an eagle so that my archers could then see further. I would then release out a massive amounts of hounds to just rush the enemy to tie them down. Especially if they covered in close enough, I would just send them out so that they would distract them, and my archers would just lob arrows into them. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that run, that warband was not good to dogs. I would empty out all the kennels. I would give them armor so that they would live, and I would just send them out because I was like, I need them to be slowed down because it was getting gnarly at this stage. Now, going back to the lensworm that was coming towards me, it wasn't one, it was two lensworm. So these giant, worms, not like worms, like it's the Eastern European dragons, snake-like with like lizard legs and all that. So they're coming towards you. They can not only bite, but their tails can then come over and whip you. So it's got multiple attacks coming in. You don't want to surround it because you surrounding it, it's just going to go, I'm surrounded. Poor fools. I can attack anywhere. It's like, oh no. So I went from having like a retinue of 12 well professional men down to like 4 badly wounded. And I had some of my guys just straight up run. I won, but it was such a Pyrrhic victory that the moment that contract finished, I sat there just taking my glasses off going, oh my god, I will never financially recover from this. Like the cost that I got from that caravan run, I was looking as like I have just about like paid the temple to heal the survivors. I now need to go and get the other people. While I can slap the armor on them, I now need to train them up, which means going back to the training grounds so that they can get the experience buffs. So I have to go out and like do hunts for brigands so that those guys can be trained up. And it's like I am in financial ruin from this. Like I will not recover. So I had to like seriously consider things. So I made one save. Was like, okay, this is the save of me going like this is a major decision point for this warband. So I'm saving it here, and then I'm gonna continue on and just see where it goes. So my plan was to like do that. If all of that falls apart, I'm gonna have to go back to that and go, right, this is not financially viable to like upgrade and go down that route. I'm just gonna have to stick with the remaining 4 and see if I can survive that. Am I save scumming? Yeah, I don't give a shit.
I'm playing on Iron Man mode. All 4 of my game companies so far have been on Iron Man mode.
So how well lubricated is your anus right now? Given that you are willingly going, gentlemen, there is one way forward, and it is not by the front door.
But also, I 100% know how that feels. Like,
hey now.
What? Hey.
You know how I feel.
Phrasing.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. No, the like losing almost my entire company about 4 to 6 hours ago. That's what happened to the Twilight Dragons. And I was like, finding this outpost was only meant to be worth like 670 gold.
Mm-hmm.
I've just lost like 6 people. This is not worth it. This was not worth it.
You're now in the net negatives just from hiring.
Yes. And like I was literally like there, just like my hands against the desk, just like staring into the void, my headphones on because Grim's next to me watching a movie with the kids. She's watching YouTube videos, YouTube movies, the free ones, and she's watching old like schlocky horror stuff and whatnot. And the kids are just like, "Ooh, that looks like fun. We're gonna watch this person get sliced open by dogs," or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, I'm just like laying there, just like, I can't recover from this. How the fuck am I going to recover from this? And she's just like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, no.
I've been recommended this video game by someone I know on the internet. He swears that it's fun. If his definition of fun is financial ruin, then I don't know what his pain is.
And what is the game?
Battle Brothers.
Yes. It is available on Steam or
GOG or any of the other.
GOG. Yep.
Yeah, you can also play it on Xbox. It's all out there. Effectively, you're playing a mercenary company, pure humans, in a fantasy world. You go around, you take various contracts anywhere from, protect this caravan, go and hunt down these bandits. Goblins are raiding our settlements. Can you go and deal with them? There's a witch out there. Go and find them. Someone has stolen my lost artifact. Can you retrieve it from me? Or for me, so on and so on. Like, there's actually story involved. Surprisingly, you're not just going around and fighting. You have to deal with your mercenary company having its own internal politics and bickerings, which is surprisingly in depth, depending on the traits and people that you get. Because I had one who was a straight up barbarian, and we were paying him in coin, and he had no concept of what coin was. So he would just, I got a text box where it described that the barbarian was just building up stacks of towers of coin and then knocking them down and thinking it was the funniest thing ever. And your options were, do I dock his wages and take it away from him because he clearly doesn't understand or appreciate it? Or do I leave it be? And I went, I'm leaving it be because he might not understand it, but I've got principles. He fights, he gets paid.
I think I've typed in the wrong thing. Battle groins is probably not what you said.
I am more amazed that you would say that out loud on the internet. Regardless, it is a very, very enjoyable video game. I've enjoyed many hours playing it. It comes and goes as an obsession, but I quite enjoy it. What I personally would love to do is to take the Witcher role-playing game and basically simulate Battle Brothers with that. Take out. You can have the Witcher class, and then that is like a specialist character, but take out the sorcerer or the mages from that, because the Witcher role-playing game, it has the entire combat system, which includes stamina. So you can do multiple attacks, but it then costs you stamina to do so. You can parry, and if you run out of stamina, suddenly you're like, I can't even lift my sword or my shield to defend myself. So you have to be conservative with how you go about it. It has the entire thing of like, you do an attack and the opponent does a defense, and if you beat their defense, you hit. But if you defeat their defense by a larger amount, you start doing more and more serious damage, like breaking their bones, cutting open arteries. These sort of details, and equally that can be done back to yourself. So it does make the game very interactive for the players. And there are a variety of roles you can play, whether it's the criminal or the thief. You can be playing as the soldier or the man at arms. You can be a bard. You can be a merchant. There is actually a merchant class, and I am over the moon with the fact that you can play as a merchant. You can also play as a craftsman, whether that is an alchemist or a blacksmith or even a weaponsmith. You can actually go down these routes and develop all of this out. You could take aspects of the character creation, because rather than rolling up a bunch of stats, you have to basically say my character is X amount of years old before you do anything. And then you roll, where was he born? Was he born in the north, the south, the Isles, or any of that form? That then has an impact onto your background or your how you were raised. You then have defining moments in your life for every 10 years. And then that will give you benefits, boons, enemies even. And you go through with that. So it basically means that you can say, my character's 34 years old. He's had 3 major events. So it can be something like he had a variety of lovers in his young days. He made enemies with a local nobleman. He had to flee his lands. He befriended a creature or a monster like a dryad or the like, and he now technically has an ally from within that. So that is now your character. These are defining moments of that person, and then everyone does that. So that means you come into the game with like a person with backstory, a person with events that has shaped them, and it's a lot of fun. And it does heavily encourage you to just play as humans, which suits perfectly for Battle Brothers, given that it is a human-dominated environment with orcs, goblins, and other varieties popping up. Which reminds me, I need to remember, I think they're called elves. I don't know. Elp, here we go. I'm just going to paste this into the Discord. So, Seraphis, have you encountered this lovely creature?
No, but I keep seeing pictures of it.
Yeah, when you do, clench hard. I can give you a tip for fighting these things if that would help you. Nets. No, nets. Nets. You can throw nets at them. You're gonna want nets. Like, if you are told that you have to deal with things to do with nightmares, shadows, anything like that, bring nets. Because these things are going to move in methods that is horrifying. And when I first encountered them, again, elves, for those of you who are unaware, creatures of nightmares and the likes, you usually end up fighting them when it is pitch black. They will make your warband splinter if you just, what I did, which is blindly run after them. You're going to have like some of your men up here, some of your men down here, and then you're realizing, oh no, I've been splintered out. They've now picking off all of them, and it's so hard to make them stand still.
Well, before I lost the Twilight Dragons, I had 3 dedicated gladiators in the group who were fighting in the arena in the south.
Yep.
And I basically kitted them out as if they were Arabian gladiators. So basically they had whips and nets, and then substituted that with a composite bow so that they could attack at range and then switch up between the phase and then move on to whip and net the enemy, which that's a fucking great strategy in the arena. But yeah, they I imagine they would have done well if they had fucking lived.
So it kind of looks like a little bit that this game is more of a kind of a souped up version of Heroes of Might and Magic, like a slightly more advanced version of it.
So Heroes of Might and Magic does have base building and other aspects which included. This is more
Open world.
it's open world. You have a
Yeah.
finite number of slots for soldiers that each progress, and when you hire them, you're not guaranteed that you're going to have someone that's competent. You have to interview them, you have to test them, and
Right.
even then you're like, okay, they seem like a good person. You take them in and you see that what their stats are, and you're like, oh my god, this is not the person I thought that they were going to be. Like some of the description, like I've got a bow and arrow, and you go like, okay, it's an archer, I can use one of them, and you pick them in, and you can see no, his skills is actually in melee fighting and defense. It's like, fuck.
Oh, earlier today, I had a guy pop up, and I was like, hey, his background was a nomad, and my last 3 checks of nomads had resulted in good hires. And I was like, nomad, I'm going to check him. He comes up with 2 abilities on him. The first one was asthmatic. Which means his initiative, his fatigue, and all that is just terrible, right?
Yeah.
And his second one was quick. So everything costs less. And I'm like,
So it was a guy that could move quickly but was asthmatic.
he can move quickly in short bursts.
Yeah. And then have to take a long rest to recover.
Pretty much. And I'm like, motherfucker, this game just betrayed me. Because he was also turned out to be starting at like level 4 or something. And I was like, I had to pay 200, 300, 400 to unlock what his to combat test him to find out his traits. And I'm just like, motherfucker, that was not worth it. It very much frustrated me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Cybermind. Yeah, ability, inability. This game gives you recruitable cell swords with both, and it is annoying as fuck. So, sometimes they can just have a positive, sometimes they can just have a negative, sometimes they'll have a positive and a negative, and sometimes they'll have nothing at all. At least that's been my experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it. That game is super addictive. Game Masters, before you joined, I was saying to Sax that I bought the game maybe 40 hours ago, and I already have 23 hours and like 39 minutes on it.
Oh my god.
That's how addictive it is to me. So
I don't need it then.
No, well, I wouldn't imagine so. You might not like the same kind of games I do.
No. I mean, just if I get sucked into it, I won't have time for anything else.
No,
yeah, but to be fair, it's also been like Saturday and Sunday here, so I had the whole weekend free. So
yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is my free time is consumed with YouTube videos. So I gotta be careful about that. Like I got sucked into Warcraft again, and I don't know. I'm about to just cancel it because
What,
it's
World of Warcraft?
yeah,
Yeah.
World of Warcraft, yeah, online.
Okay.
But it's one of those games where I can jump in and play for 4 minutes and then leave if I need to. And I don't know. I just frequently when I do find time, I sit down and then I get so I guess ADHD about it. Not about the game, but just in general. And it's like, shit. All right, so I committed to playing this game. Now I'm thirsty. I'm gonna go get something to drink. And so I just sit there, in game doing nothing. I'll walk back and I'm dead. I get back to the computer and I'm dead. All right, fine. So let me resurrect. Let me go, or let me fly back to where my corpse was so I can resurrect. Get to a safe spot. Damn it! Now I got to go pee. I get up and I'll go pee. So I mean, for any given 30 minutes that I'm sitting down to play, I might actually be playing for like half that time because the remainder of my time I'm just up fiddling around the house.
Mm-hmm.
How long can you play a typical game of that?
What, World of Warcraft?
No,
Battle Brothers.
yeah, Battle Brothers.
Of
Like, can you play for 2 minutes and then that's it?
no.
Okay.
Like
So it's a committal.
this if you need to do, I definitely would say like a minimum of like 30 minutes is required of dedicated.
Okay.
The combat is turn based. So if you have to get up and go somewhere and do things, you can do that. If you're
Okay.
traveling over the world, you can literally pause the world so it doesn't go anywhere, so you're not stuck. So if you want to just do 2 minutes of moving from one town to the next, you can absolutely do that. Your progression is going to be very small.
Yeah. I would assume. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and once you start like combat, that's like you are locked in for that until you either die or you win. If you are ending up having to like turn the game off, it will go to the last save before you got into a fight. So you want to save often if you know that you are going to be intermittently leaving. But thankfully, they've got a variety of like quick keys for that. So like things like the F5 is like a quick save. So you just press that regularly whenever you have to get up. Like, oh, pause F5, stand up and leave, come back, do something. What's up?
Very me.
Yeah. I had my 40k game yesterday.
Yep.
So the current focus is that the underdeck has basically risen up. There's also been some back and forth with different players because now that we have a mix of players. We've got some people who've been playing for like a year leading up to this point, and now we've had a bunch of people who's joined, and it's like their fourth or fifth game with the group. So we're having to like readjust for everyone being in. The event that's taking place is the underdeck has basically risen up. It's an area where the people are very susceptible to the warp. The ship has a complication, which is that it has blasphemous tendencies, so it's very easy for people to get or hear voices of the warp. And yeah, so they're having to go and deal with this. They know that there are cannibals that's come up, mutants, and there is apparently a witch amongst them. The group tried to be as stealthy as they could, until they found the first cluster of mutant nesting. At which point they just went right. The navigator opened up his eye, stunned everyone. Everyone else ran in there and decided that okay, we now need to kill them. Even though they said we're going to do it stealthily, people pulled out las guns and bolters and fired that in enclosed combat, enclosed spaces, which echoes very violently. So very soon there's a small horde of mutants who went, we're pretty sure we heard something. We're going to go and check that out. And when I say a horde, I mean like it's about 200 of them. They're just going there, like a variety of them. Now the players have done a lot of like, we've got scouts that are covering the front, and this like honestly they take 15 to 20 minutes laying out systematically how they go about things, which that's good. It does mean that like they refuse to say we move forward using all of our all the logical things to be done. Because I've got some of the players are very anal about like, no, we need to make sure that we have said this so Oscar cannot screw with us. Which, fine, I've fostered that, so it's a bet I just need to lay in. So they were made aware of this group coming towards them. They came up and they're like, right, we're now going to create this funnel, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I explained what they'd set up. Trying to like tell the arch militant or the warrior of the group, like, here's what you're doing because you've passed these roles. And that guy just went room, like he's just zoned out. And I went, hello, knock knock, hello, are you hearing what I'm saying? He's like, oh, you're talking to me? I'm like, you're the only one with military experience in this entire group. Yes, I'm talking to you. Oh, okay, what's happening? Bullet points. Here's what's going on. Do you disagree? No. Cool. Just move on. The player has the tendency of just zoning out, which I know about. Is just it still frustrates me a bit when I'm trying to like cover the things because there's a disconnect between what the character can do and what the player can do. Which is fine.
Yeah, that's always been a challenge, especially with online play. It's also one of the reasons that I just can't stand online play. I mean, I got a lot of reasons why I don't, but why I don't like it. But that's kind of up there. So I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, somebody is sitting at their desk and they've got shit like stuff like cards to fidget with, or they're probably on their phone watching porn, or whatever other little random doodads they have on their desk playing with, and it is easy for folks to zone out.
Yeah, I get it. I absolutely get it. The thing is, I'm just going to pick on this specific player. He has a very hard time. His attention deficit. Yeah, his attention is just very low. He's easily distracted. He just zones out. This is a personality trait, or it's a person trait at this point. And that's specific to him. I know that there are others that are going to go and like, okay, I'm now going to look up this. This is going to be happening over here. Oscar is talking to this group, so I'm going to go and read up on a couple of other things here. Fine, I get that. That's both a benefit. It's a negative of that. So in this case, it's just the one player who just went right. He just went, I'm not doing that, but he also doesn't. The inherent knowledge requirement that comes with playing Rogue Trader, especially if you're going to be taking it to the level of seriousness that this group is taking it, does mean that if you say, I am going to be the arch militant or I'm going to be the commander, you need to actually understand or having read at least a little bit basic understanding of what military tactics are like. This guy hasn't. He doesn't want to either. He just wants to be the guy who goes, I have a sword and I run towards enemy. It's like,
right. He wants to be the party warrior.
Exactly. And that's what he is wanting to go for, which is fine. I'm trying to cater it to what he is going to be like. But there are moments where I can't, like I just cannot do that.
Well, yeah, I mean, either the storyline doesn't allow for it, or the specific given situation, again, doesn't allow for it. I get that.
Exactly. So that basically took place. They came up against a horde, and they could then see like this horde was coming up with banners, and they had desecrated the banners. I had to do a brief explanation of how the ship worked, in the sense that like 40k, you've got different departments of the ship. That department then has their own culture, their own heritage, their own beliefs, typically also their own banners and structures. Even though the players, the legacy players, have done a really hard job removing this idea of tribalism, because the players just straight up don't want that. It's just a very difficult thing to remove the pride in being a part of a specific what's it called. Being a part of a specific culture or department of that ship. So the players saw that these were coming in there. This group of like cannibalistic mutants had not only like taken over these other tribes, they've now eaten them, consumed their members. So the players had to go up and fight against 200 of them. And thankfully, there are rules for making a mass combat like that very smooth and easy for the players to engage with. So I enjoyed seeing as all this happened, and more importantly, because they were having to effectively kill so many people, they were actually racking up a lot of insanity points. Because when you start having to, pull down the trigger and you're having to drop so many individuals, even though they may be mutants, you're still taking lives. And the arch-militant basically went, I would like to go in and use my cool power fist. Which, first and foremost, he had no idea how he was using his weapon. So he was like, I do 60 points of damage. I'm like, no, you don't. That is right there. You do not do that. And he was like, but it says this. I'm like, no, you have horribly misread how that math is meant to be done. So we had to go into his character sheet, and that just opened up another can of worms that he hadn't been looking after his character sheet either. So it's like, how do you have, because it's a percentile system. So it's like, how do you have a strength of 90? Like, you are rivaling a major demonic force. And he's like, oh, but I've got this, and this. I'm like, that's not how that works. So we then had to go in and like adjust his character sheet, because he had just made an absolute pig's ear out of it. We eventually got that sorted, and we told him like to stop. Like we told him like we basically told him like if he's adding anything in, he needs someone to supervise him, because this is like the third time we've seen that like he either hasn't done the math right or he's added in things wrong. So I'm getting a bit suspicious. Like either he's feigning stupidity or it's actual stupidity.
Or
So,
both.
It could be both. He's faking that he's stupid by being very, very stupid. Who's typing? Okay. Sorry, it just sounded like someone was hammering away at the keyboard to me. Oh, Christ.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I've got a pen and paper, so I'm not clackety clacking.
No, I don't know how I'm hearing what I'm hearing then.
Are you hearing it currently?
No.
Yeah. I'm hearing it. I'm hearing something going like it's like a wheel is like But
No,
that
no,
might just be,
that sounds like an old
now it stopped.
computer system clanking up. You know, like the old 90s computers, or
What, like the dial-ups?
You've got much better hearing than me. I can't hear anything at all.
Fair enough.
Hold on.
Oh, no,
It's
it's
not
stopped
there
now.
right now.
Whatever was happening has stopped now.
I know
Sorry.
I've got a graphics card in my computer that sometimes goes into overdrive.
Hmm.
And it shouldn't, because it's a kick-ass hard graphics card, but I don't know.
I don't know. It's stopped now, but it was distracting me quite badly because I kept on hearing this. Either way, so the group was going up against the enemy, and there were some cool moments because they pulled out all their big guns, except there was a moment where no one noticed it, but I certainly did. Which was that the rogue trader was like, I'm going to pull out my plasma gun and shoot it inside the ship.
And I mean, can that like blow through the hull?
Yes.
You can blow through the hull. You can cause depressurization. It was the single most ridiculous thing. Everyone else was getting out like solid projectiles, carbine weapons, auto guns, shotguns, because they're like, we cannot depressurize the hull. And there's a lot of flamers, because again, you're not going to be going through meters thick metal with just a little bit of a blowtorch. And then the rogue trader goes, I'm going to pull out energy weapons. And it's like, oh.
So suddenly it has taken the story in a direction that you really didn't plan for.
I mean, it was a serious risk for me doing rolls behind the screen of like what effectively happened. So he rolled. He basically rolled enough to hit the enemy, but I was like, that I could do some serious. So he rolled out. He was super happy. He did like 2 critical hits, and he was like mowing through like 10 people with that thing. I was like, yeah, I'll address this post game with the fact that like he shot. It was at an angle. It's now actually torn through several levels and done some damage here, and he's going to be given like a little note from the eventually the mechanicus who's going to go, hi. If you're considering shooting laser weapons inside of the ship, we would very much like to see your accuracy ballistic checks so that we know you're not about to do some ridiculous things.
So okay, let me throw this out there. I've had in my what was it? It was a slight science fiction-ish based D&D session that we did, and they were about to do something very, very similar in that the weapon that they were going to discharge, it basically was a cross between D&D and I don't know if you ever played the game Doom, but there's a gun in there called the BFG, big fucking gun, and it shoots this huge, massive plasma ball. And the ship they were on was overrun by demons. They were going to shoot one of the demons who was standing against the wall. And it didn't matter if they hit the demon or missed the demon. This massive plasma ball was going to hit with so much power, so much force, that it would have ripped a complete hole in the hull and sucked everybody out into space. So at that point, and this is the question that I'm asking. Rogue Trader, does it have this type of mechanic, or could it potentially have this kind of mechanic? I had at that point, they did this, and narratively, I said, the moment that your finger begins to pull back on the trigger, just ever so slightly, time kind of freezes, it stops. For everybody except for you and your eyes, you can still freely look around in, the area. And before you emerges this figure, basically was a time god, if you will, that kind of more or less explained to them what was about to happen. And it was more of this was more of an in-game version of the DM saying, if you do this, there's a good chance that the game session is completely over and all characters are killed. If you want to proceed with that, we can do that. But understand that everybody sitting at this table is going to be pissed off at you because they're wanting to play the game.
That does not happen in this. What's it called? In this in Rogue Trader and Warhammer.
Okay.
An event like that, I would be having, out of like the 6 players, I'd probably have 4 or 5 of them scream that that's a demon. Like none of them would be buying into that being the GM saying that, because interventions like that are usually done via entities that are malevolent.
Oh, there are a few holy demons though.
Yeah, there are. What's it called? They're often referred to as saints, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
But they're very, very rare.
Yeah.
Like one of them is meant to be potentially a echo or something of the Primarch Sanguinus.
Yes, that's for the Blood Angels and all of their subsequent things.
Yep.
Because they have to go through the red thirst.
Man, I so feel sorry for Dante.
Yeah, well, he just wants to die.
No.
He just wants to die.
And then he was about to die, and fucking Girly Man comes and saves him. And I just have to think that what's going through his head at that moment is, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Just kill me. Kill me. Brother of my gene founder, just kill me. You don't need me. Kill me. And he's like, I have come here to save you. Fuck. I also love the fact that, like, Dante is just alive in Warhammer 40k because they need him alive. Like, the Imperium needs him alive because he's just... Before Rube Gilliman woke up, he was the closest thing to someone organizing an actual military defense against chaos and everything else. Because the entire leadership is just an insane group of probably words I best not say even on my own channel. But psychotic geriatrics, let's put it that way. Who are completely oblivious to really what's going on outside of Holy Terror. And it's just the fact that Dante has been able to keep the Imperium intact this long. Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why the Blood Angels are seen, like, they have such a strong following base, because they are, well, for what they do, for what Dante has been doing, everything that's sort of like following within that. Same for the Lamenters and the likes. Yeah.
I still love the idea that was presented in If the Emperor Had Text the Speech, that what's his name? Not Russ. Rogel Dawn has just been secretly hiding out in a closet within the Capitol building. And someone just needs to go open his door so he can come out and be like, I am back, brothers.
I followed text-to-speech for a period, and then I stopped. And then since the guy basically went, right, nuking the entire thing, I went, okay, cool. I think that was because Games Workshop basically said, we don't approve of what you're doing, so stop it, cease and desist.
Yeah. It was during the craze of basically DMCAing everything.
They went full Disney.
Yeah. Which...
You never go full Disney.
Oh, yeah, no.
No, like the fact that, again, like using Disney as an example, you had someone who made a fan movie of Vader, completely free, wasn't taking any ad revenues, nothing. It wasn't even behind a Patreon or anything.
Yep.
He went, I have permission from LucasArts. I have permission from this one. I have gone out of my way. This is absolutely open license, not taking anything from this. And Disney turned around and went, nope, we're not doing that. And he went, I literally got permission from the IP holders over here. Can you communicate with them? Nope. Cease and desist.
Yeah.
And then eventually they backtracked because the LucasArts turned around and went like, what are you doing? This is a fan.
Well, and a lot of public outrage about it too.
Yeah, and it just was not worth it. So they backtracked. But at that point, the guy was like, this was an amount of effort that I just couldn't.
Yeah. No, I remember that. That was, God bless. I know the name, I know the YouTube channel, and I cannot for the life of me remember. And that, honestly, that really shifted a lot of the content that he was making.
Fine.
What?
You're back now.
That's weird. It told me that I lost connection waiting for the host to reconnect.
It happens.
Okay.
Let's restream, yeah.
Well, it is super, super windy out today. So we have a cold front coming through. It's currently, well, when I woke up this morning at, I don't know, 5:30, 4:30, whenever it was 71 degrees. It's going to be 20 degrees tonight.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're talking no snow, but they're talking thunderstorms. And then once that blows through, it's the cold front that's pushing it. They're also talking tornadic activity.
Wow.
So that would be going from 20 degrees Celsius to -6.
Well, I definitely wouldn't be wearing the clothes I am currently wearing.
Yeah. In the meantime, I'm enjoying having my window open and having a nice cool breeze coming in.
I can imagine.
I'm also being attacked by my books at the moment, but that's okay.
I'm just going to go back to the game because I diverted us. Basically, what ended up happening was the players did their best to hold it back. The mob eventually closed the distance because they were just like, we're literally just going to hold up dead bodies in front of us, so you just shoot into like dead corpses. Close the distance, overwhelm the people with the flamethrowers, began beating the fucking hell out of them. I had a critical hit against the confessor or the missionary of the group. He miscalculated the damage that he took. So he went like, oh, I got -6, which meant that like someone actually cut through his helmet and sliced out one of his eyes. So he was like, oh shit, okay, yeah, I'm out. And the the Archmilitant was being surrounded, and like because he's in power armor, he literally had mutants crawling up, like trying to get knives and swords into his weak points, which was a lovely imagery. The navigator went, well, the seneschal went, all right, well, I'm gonna, in power armor, I'm gonna rush in, grab the confessor, and like pull him out while he's underground so that we can get him out from harm's way. The navigator goes, right, I am going to run in, open my third eye, hit as many as I can with my eye. What is the chances that I can do this without hitting anyone? I went, 0. You are hitting at least 2 people. One being the seneschal, who's rushed in to like get someone out, and he's upright, so he's going to be in the cone of fire, and the archmilitant. And he was like, well, I trust that they can either tank the damage, or they have a strong enough willpower to resist it, because I will forewarn them. That gives them a plus 30 to their resistance. This can be done. So he runs in, he does that. Both of them fails. They have to oppose his willpower, which is already ridiculously high. It doesn't help that player rolls everything in secret, so only I can see it. So I then have to communicate that, and there's a lot of chatter. But no one passes their save, and everyone takes 12 points of damage immediately. The seneschal had 13 hit points, and he's an average human, so he's almost out. The archmilitant was at 0. He's not knocked out because you can keep fighting until you go into negatives. So he takes 12 points, bringing him down into negative, which means that the energies literally fry him inside his own armor. And
how often do your players encounter like chaos demons and all that?
So demons, rarely. They encounter a lot of mutants, and they encounter a lot of aliens at the moment. They have encountered aliens that has the ability of like using the warp.
Yeah. What about like Necrons and Tyranids? I mean, are those in Rogue Trader?
Not in the core game, but I have expanded my game out to use Deathwatch, Only War, and a bunch of others. So I have a tomb world for Necrons that the players may visit if they decide to. They don't know that it's a tomb world, but it's there.
Nice.
They were given a head. They've been given a heads up that there's some weird activity in this area of space, and they've gone, we'll go there later, nonchalantly, not aware of what it is.
Gotcha.
And
how aware are they of like the history of Warhammer 40K? Just in general.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, like 4 out of 6 of them are like proper nerds.
Okay.
And there's like 2 of them who are kind of new. Like one of them is like brand new, never read any books at all.
Gotcha.
So they like when they ran into the Drukhari or the Dark Elder, the players that were present just went, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck. And that was an event where it was just like the NPCs just went, we are jumping into the warp now, and we're getting the fuck out of here. We're doing this blind. We're doing no prep work. We're getting out of here. We're not sticking around. So the Archmilitant, he had the cumulative amount of like -10, which means he's dead. Like there is no resurrection, no nothing. So he has to burn a fate point, which is like a Deus Ex Machina that you can spend. And I explained that like he was just roasted inside his own armor. Like that's it. Like his skin has been fried out. His eyes has popped. Like he needs to go under intensive surgery to replace his eyes, and he needs to go through like. We're doing a time skip of like 3 weeks, which is going to get him conscious. He's going to be at -7, which is he is not going to be going into battle anytime soon.
Yeah.
Like it's for every -1, he needs a week of intensive care. So he needs 10 weeks of being looked after. And there's a bunch of other players who are also like at either 1 hit point or they are at the negatives. So like 3 out of 6 characters are badly wounded from this encounter, like fighting hundreds and hundreds of these creatures. To make it worse, they haven't actually made a dent at the problem. Like they came to the area where people are meant to be living, and they're like, okay, roughly how many people should be living in this deck? And we did some quick calculation. We're like about 4,000 people, and they're like, shit. It's like even like assuming 1/3 of them or like 1/4 of them have been turned. That's still 1,000 people that they have to put down, and they've only killed 200. And that's only accounting for this level, and there's a level below that.
And it's not like they can just plant a bomb and be done with it, because that could take out the whole ship.
Exactly. So what the players have now said is that between this session and next session, we're doing the time skip, but there's going to be like various players who are just going to be doing like intensive attacks, but they're using the NPCs to do it. So we're going to be doing high level, do a bunch of rolls, and then they will do the outcome from that.
What are the possibilities that they just decide, screw it, we're just going to flood all the lower decks with poisonous gas and just wipe them out?
That was a suggestion by the Mechanicus. We actually went, can we just it was back and forth, and they. So one of them is actually like, can we just because they can control where oxygen is diverse. So like, can we just pump it full of like carbon monoxide? And they're like, yeah, you can do that, but like it has to be like there are local areas that can then recycle the carbon monoxide and pump it out. So like you're going to have a limited effect, but you have to you could just pump it all down.
Just eliminate oxygen altogether, right?
Yeah, that sounds impossible. Like you can make them suffocate. There are going to be. Like it's brutal. Like it is really brutal. Like the suggestions that they have to go to, because the security forces are kind of outnumbered. Like they're having a few hundred that has to go down and deal with thousands.
Yeah. So what is that off the table at this point, or is that still a possibility?
It's still a possibility, but the tech priest who suggested it, they decided that once we finish this session, that they want to go into surgery, and they're now out for like X amount of weeks, so they can't do anything. The navigator and the captain are now saying that they want to take shifts leading the assaults into the underdecks. So that's basically meaning for the next 3 weeks, there's like 24/7 warfare on the ship.
Oh, wow.
So we're deferring all of this to like a couple of roles that the players are going to be doing, and the result of that is going to be the outcome. I am putting the difficulty very high. They can retake the third deck, sure. If they're going to say we're going to push into the fourth deck, there is going to be some severe penalties, because the third deck is already filled with like radiation, chemical leaks, and a bunch of other problems that they have to overcome. They can overcome it, but it's dangerous. The fourth deck is like, there is no light. There is like the oxygen down there is poisonous, except for those who has been grown and born there. It is filled with mutants. The food there is disgusting. There is corrosive elements. Like once they go in there, like it's going to be. They have really entered into the equivalent of like hell, because it's going to
there's still the witch too, right?
There is the witch. So there are two things happening here. The witch is the shock trooper. She's out there like raising lightning. She's leaving fetishes and inscriptions, which means that the closer to the fourth level that they come, the people are going to start feeling like blood boiling, and they're going to be influenced by like the more bloodshed they do, the more corrupted they become. So it's a dangerous thing the closer they come there, which will slow them down, because they have to disrupt all of these nodes. When they get into the fourth one, that's steeped in this sort of corruption. So it's going to get even worse there. So if they take care of her, they might be going like, oh, thank God. But there's actually a hidden enemy in the fourth level, which is a chaos worshipper, like a proper chaos worshipper, who is cultivating this like group of hate, or this like atmosphere of hate. Which is
could that chaos worshiper potentially open a portal?
He has been working towards influencing. Like, he's not opening a portal. He is, he's basically steeping in to create what's called a warp sickness or warp disturbances. So like the people there are just like losing their mind. They're embracing chaos. They're becoming more mutated and so on and so on. That's what he's festering. He's festering hate that will start seeping upwards. I am unfortunately going to have to bounce at this point because I've got some other commitments that are creeping in at this point. But I hope I've at least been a little bit entertaining in what I've been doing with my players.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, it's interesting to me.
That's always something.
I mean, that's why I keep asking the questions, because it's like, this is cool. This is cool.
Yeah. Well, mind you, like I had like out of the 6 players, I had like 3 of them shout, "We love paperwork," because they were like actually having to go through and like do like what are we doing, like what's happening here. Like they find the logistics aspect a lot of fun. So yeah, but that's the cool bit of it. Anyway, gentlemen, it's been fun. Take care.
Bye-bye. So you're bouncing too, I take it?
Well, nobody showed up yet, so.
Well, I don't mind bouncing here. Or, ending here anyway. We've had, decent hour, so. Besides, I haven't gotten a lot of sleep over the weekend.
Well, rest up, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So, yeah. I guess. Thanks for joining us, folks, and I don't know. Don't do anything to a bagel that you wouldn't do to a friend.
Sound advice.
Don't put anything in the donut hole.